Hello and welcome back to my channel. Recently on Instagram I asked if anyone had any questions, and today we're just gonna answer them. There's no cohesive theme here, it's just gonna be a Q&A. Alright, let's take a look at these questions. How are you doing? I'm doing pretty good, thank you for asking. Life's been a little bit crazy lately, but when is it not? Have you played a Final Fantasy game? If so, which one is your favorite? Oh, I actually have a story about this. When I was a kid, my siblings and I got a Final Fantasy game. I can't remember which one it is right now. I will put whichever one it is on the screen here. When we made it to our first battle, we died. And when we died, the game froze. And we couldn't restart it. And we had to return the game. So I actually never completed a Final Fantasy game because after that we forgot to get a new copy and give it another shot. Tell us a wild con story you haven't shared yet. You know what? I just shared the story with some friends the other day. It was when I was at Dragon Con in 2024. I believe this happened at the Baldur's Gate 3 D&D one-shot panel. It was either that or the Baldur's Gate 3 Q&A. The specifics on that don't totally matter, but it was Baldur's Gate. Since I'm disabled, I was with the ADA section and we sat down at the panel first. I was talking to the person next to me, we were sort of talking about being chronically ill and disabled, sharing experiences, and suddenly we started asking about jobs and hobbies, and I mentioned being a musician, and I casually mentioned something about Zoe coming back any minute now because she had gone somewhere. And suddenly this person turned to me and goes, "Are you Ariel, from Ariel, Zoe, and Eli?" It was the first time in years I'd been recognized for the music. That was pretty wild. That was pretty crazy. We're mutuals on TikTok now. What is your favorite flower? I actually don't know. Maybe roses? There was a time for a while where traditional art was something I really thought I was going to pursue, and I actually had a knack for realism, and roses were my favorite thing to draw. The story on why I don't do traditional art is a story for another time. But yeah, I guess I'm gonna go with roses. Have you ever dyed your hair a really fun color? Oh, you must be new here. I had purple hair for 7 years. It started off as truly purple, and then eventually it turned into more of a red-violet, and then it turned more into red, which then turned more into pink. This is the first time in a long time where my hair is dyed, but not like a fashion color. Have you ever been on a roller coaster, and do you like them? I have been on a roller coaster before. I grew up going to Cedar Point during my summers, and I'm also a huge Disney person. That being said, I don't like roller coasters. They trigger my sensory issues. They're not fun for me. I guess it's not entirely true. There's some roller coasters I like. But if they have launches or big drops or loops or barrel rolls, count me out. I tried to pretend to like them for a while so I could hang out with my friends at theme parks, but then I went on a roller coaster a few years ago and literally blacked out. It's not for me. What made you decide to start making content? That is actually a really good question. So I didn't necessarily choose the content creator life, it kind of chose me, if that makes sense. So I'm a musician, and I've been a musician for, I don't know, maybe 15 years at this point. And specifically, I was in a band with my siblings, so we started doing content creation to get people interested. Some of the content was promoting music, and some of the content was just sort of getting to know us. Down the line, TikTok started becoming popular, and people were like, oh, just do anything to get your name out there. I wasn't expecting the frog business to take off, but now because I do have a frog business, I need to make more frog content to promote that business. And now I do videos like this just because it's fun. Some people ask if my job is being a content creator, and technically, yes, but I consider it more of a part of my job as opposed to my entire job. What's your favorite frog you've ever made? That's like asking me to pick a favorite child. Also, I gotta be so for real. I have made over 1,000 frogs. It's really hard to pick a favorite when you've made so many. I will say, my favorite type of frog to make is usually the Dungeons & Dragons inspired frogs because there's just so much creativity in that fan base. But even then, I can't narrow it down to one specific frog. Can you start making tutorials on sewing and cosplay? I do have one kind of sort of tutorial up. It's more of a walkthrough of what I did. I might be able to do more tutorials in the future, but as of this moment, I don't really have the setup to film tutorials. And also, I know this sounds crazy because I literally sew things as my job, but my skills are pretty limited. I have never sewn a garment with my sewing machine from scratch, and my hand sewing projects are all pretty basic. And I can embroider a little bit, but I don't think my technique is correct. I am mostly self-taught, so there's a lot of imposter syndrome here. But I do want to post more cosplay-related content and more sewing-related content, so I hope you'll follow along for the ride. But I don't really know what tutorials will look like at this moment in time. because I did have a job as a sewing teacher for 1 month, and oh my god, that was hard. Where in the US would I like to visit someday? Oh, that's a really good question. Because this question specified places I haven't been to before but would like to visit. And part of my problem is there are a lot of places where I've been there before but didn't get enough time to fully explore. Like, I've been to California once, but I would love to go again. I just went to New Mexico for the first time. I just got back from Santa Fe, and I would love to go back and see more museums. But in terms of places I, haven't been to, okay, there's actually a really specific answer. In Galveston, Texas, there is a rainforest cafe with a ride. I want to go on the Rainforest Cafe River ride. That is so oddly specific, but it's the only thing I can think of. I'm trying so hard to think of any other answer and I can't. So, I don't know. I guess I'm going with Galveston, Texas to go on the Rainforest Cafe River ride. And I believe that was all of the questions. Thank you so much to everyone who submitted questions. I hope that these answers were somewhat satisfactory. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe so you can see more of my shenanigans. And I will see you all in the next video. Bye!